Nancy Grace Augusta Wake was born in Wellington, New Zealand in 1912, the youngest of 6 children. Her early life was marked by upheaval when her father abandoned the family, leaving her mother to raise 6 children alone. From the beginning, Nancy was fiercely independent, unwilling to accept a life dictated by circumstance. At 16, she ran away, worked as a nurse, and saved enough money to chase adventure abroad. In the 1930s, Paris beckoned, and she reinvented herself as a journalist, thriving amidst the city's clatter of cafes, the chatter of politicians, and the hum of crowded streets. Yet it was in Vienna, while covering the rise of fascism, that she confronted oppression in its rawest form. She saw Jewish families beaten in the streets, shops looted, and lives destroyed for no reason but their faith. Those images haunted her. In the quiet of her cheap hotel room, she scribbled in her notebook, "If the world burns, I will fight." By 1940, Nancy was married to Henri Fiocca, a wealthy French industrialist. They lived comfortably in Marseille, with sunlight glinting off the Mediterranean and the aroma of fresh bread drifting through the streets. But the shadow of occupation fell swiftly. Nancy could not remain idle. She began with small acts of defiance, working as a courier for the fledgling resistance. Her beauty and wit became weapons. At checkpoints, she charmed soldiers, slipping past them with messages, money, and supplies hidden in the folds of her skirts. Soon, she guided downed Allied pilots and other fugitives to safety, smuggling them across borders into Spain. Every mission carried risk. Capture meant torture or death. Yet Nancy pressed on, whispering to herself in the dark, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite it." The Gestapo noticed her. They called her the White Mouse, frustrated by her constant evasion. By 1943, a 5 million franc bounty had been placed on her head. Henri begged her to stop one evening, his face etched with worry. "Nancy, they'll kill you, please come home." She grasped his hands firmly, the lamplight dancing across their clasped fingers. "I cannot stop, Henri. Someone must fight. Someone must answer for this terror." When the Gestapo pressed too close, Nancy fled. The goodbye to Henri was a kiss that burned, a promise to return whispered in silence, though doubt gnawed at her resolve. The escape across the Pyrenees tested every ounce of her endurance. Snow stung her face and seeped into her clothes. Hunger gnawed at her stomach. Patrols prowled the mountains like wolves. She climbed sheer cliffs, waded through icy streams, and hid beneath rocks when the distant bark of German dogs and the click of boots threatened to give her away. One night, crouched behind a boulder, her hands raw from the cold, she whispered Henri's name and felt tears freeze on her cheeks. Patrol lights swept the mountainside, grazing the edges of her vision. Every step was a gamble, every breath a potential death sentence. Exhaustion tugged at her, but memory and determination propelled her onward. When she finally stumbled into Spain and reached London, she learned the news that shattered her. Henri had been captured and executed. Grief clawed at her, but she refused to surrender to despair. "I will fight," she murmured to a fellow agent, her voice steady though her body shook. For him, for France, for justice. Nancy volunteered for the Special Operations Executive, Britain's secret network for espionage and sabotage. Training was relentless. She learned parachuting, explosives, hand-to-hand combat, survival techniques, and marksmanship. Small in stature but indomitable, she excelled where others faltered. Her instructors marveled at her endurance and her unwavering determination. She learned to kill silently with a knife, to move unseen through forests, and to strike with lightning speed. In 1944, she parachuted into central France, landing in the dead of night. The landing went wrong. She became entangled in a pine tree, her parachute flapping like a wounded bird. She freed herself, scraped and bruised, and moved through the forest, alert to every sound, the crunch of leaves, the rustle of branches, the faintest snap of a twig. Her mission was to unite resistance forces in the Auvergne, disrupt German supply lines, and lead guerrilla raids. She coordinated weapons drops, trained fighters, and delivered critical messages across hundreds of kilometers. On one storm-soaked night, she huddled with her men in a dilapidated barn. "Tomorrow," she said, voice low but resolute, "we hit the railway. They will not see us coming." Her men nodded. drawing courage from her certainty. Her bravery became legend. In ambushes, she fought alongside her men, firing her Sten gun with deadly precision. Once, when a sentry threatened to alert the enemy, she seized him, threw him to the ground, and silenced him before an alarm could be raised. Her courage inspired her fighters and terrified the Germans. Bridges collapsed, rails were torn apart, communication lines severed, and by the time Allied forces landed in Normandy, German divisions were in chaos, slowed and harassed by her operations. Whispers of the White Mouse travelled fast, and fear of her spread like wildfire. Even in brief moments of respite, Nancy remained vigilant. In the quiet of an empty farmhouse, she listened for distant footsteps, the rustle of leaves, the faint click of a German patrol. Every sound could mean death, yet she remained calm, calculating her next move. When one of her men asked if she ever feared capture, she smiled wryly. "Fear is a luxury," she said. "We act or we die." Liberation came at last, and Nancy walked among cheering crowds, tears streaking her face. Victory was tempered by sorrow, Henri was gone, and every familiar street reminded her of what she had lost. Yet she persevered, continuing in intelligence work and later attempting a life in politics, though she preferred action to ceremony. Her legacy was already cemented in the hearts of those who fought with her. Her honours were numerous: the George Medal from Britain, the Medal of Freedom from the United States, multiple Croix de Guerre medals from France. Yet she shrugged them off. "I hate wars," she said bluntly, "but if they come, I don't see why women should just wave their men goodbye." In later years, she lived quietly in Australia and Britain, never softening her sharp wit or hiding the truth of her experiences. When she died in 2011 at the age of 98, she left behind a story of courage and defiance that continues to inspire. The Nazis had called her the White Mouse because she escaped every trap, yet to the resistance she was a lioness, fearless, unyielding, and indomitable. Her life is a testament to the power of courage, the resilience of the human spirit, and the truth that one person, willing to act, can stand against even the darkest forces. If you have a thought concerning Nancy Wake or any other spy during the war, drop your thoughts in a comment below. If you enjoyed the story, please support the channel by hitting the like or joining as a member.